Hey, what's up? This is Ray with Get Real Ray, a space for life and business tips that will hopefully help you on your journey or, at the very least, provide you with some laughs. And so, let's get real. Today, we are going to be talking about 5 things I wish I knew before I moved. Okay, so just to be clear, I have had a lot of experience in moving. I have lived in no, actually I did count the other day and legit, I have lived in 20 different homes slash apartments. I've moved 20 times. Isn't that exciting? Now, some of you might be going, that Ray, you must be a military brat. That's no big deal. Yeah, no family members that I was raised in the same house with that were part of the military. Sorry, not military brat. Just legit moved 20 times. And so, sometimes within the same city. FYI. Okay. Anyway, there are things that you look out for when you are moving. An experienced mover can tell you that you should be sure to check out the neighborhood before you move, right? Visit during the day and also visit at night. Is it safe? What's it look like at night? Are people hanging out? Do you have to, are the lights on? Are the street lights on? Do you have to be worried? Do you have to carry mace? Okay. Now, you also want to get a feel for the neighborhood. Try to talk to somebody in the leasing office, if there is a leasing office. If you're dealing with a small-time landlord, then try to get them on the phone and get a feel for how they are. Is this a trustworthy person? Is this a person who's going to be just dragging their feet on repairs? If you are looking to move into a expensive building that has property management, you might be taking a look at the property management reviews online to see, are other tenants happy? Is this a building where they give you a little tour and maybe introduce you to other tenants? I had that happen once. I actually did not wind up renting that place, but I thought it was super cool that this realtor was just like, yeah, I want you to meet your neighbor. And I thought that was a really awesome experience. So there are just some things though you cannot predict. No amount of cruising the neighborhood in advance, like multiple times a day, no amount of reading online reviews, of trying to talk to people who have resided in that building, no amount of checking out the city itself would have prepared me for these things. Now, as some of you may know, my most recent move is to a city that I'd never been to before in my life. I did a theater tour. It may have passed through here, but I don't really think it did. So I'm just gonna say I've never been here before. I don't know anybody, moved here not knowing anybody. A friend of mine said, oh, what part of the city are you in? And I was just like, I don't know. There are parts of the city? I'm legit looking at a map trying to figure out, am I north, am I south, am I east, am I west? I don't really know. And I had to ask an Uber driver if they could tell me what part of the city I was in, because I just legit, after like a good month, I still had no clue where I was. So yeah, here are 5 things I did not know before making my sight unseen move. And even if I'd seen the place beforehand, just no way to tell. Please enjoy. Problem number 1. My neighbors. Now, I hear what you're saying, Ray. That's why you check it out daytime and nighttime. Come on. Okay. Now, to be fair, my neighborhood is super quiet during the day, and most nights it's super quiet. It's a quiet neighborhood. Yes, I love this. This is what I need for my soul. I work from home, and yeah, even if I didn't work from home, I want for home to be relaxing and peaceful and not chaotic. Okay, I get it. When you're like in college, you live in a dorm, you expect loud music. And given the price point that I'm paying, I should expect loud music all the time because my rent is not expensive. However, I chose a townhouse because I did not want the noise of someone above me or someone below me. And I really want to reduce that kind of noise impact from all sides. What I didn't expect is even though the outside of my building is brick, which really says noise will not travel, woohoo, the shared walls of the townhouse appear to be very thin. Oh, yes. So, my neighbor has a really wonderful sound system, it seems. The bass works very nicely. And there are times when my floors shake and the decibels are in the 60s in my place. That means that it's even louder in their place. And it kind of sucks to be that new neighbor where you feel like, oh, do I have to call the cops? Because I can't work, I can't think, I can't even like have a conversation with myself. How you doing, Ray? I can't function. I can't have a conversation with myself without having somebody else's playlist constantly going. Now, I'm very grateful that my neighbor seems to be super cool and doesn't play loud music all the time, but there are moments where I have to like seriously meditate and really just go for a jog or something because I can't stand the music. On the other side of me, I have a neighbor where for actually the first 2 weeks, I didn't think anyone lived there because it was so quiet. Now, it's true, with the noise of music, there could have been an opportunity for me to hear that music out on the street passing by, chants during the day. Sometimes that might happen, right? Like I said, it's not very frequent, so there's still a probability that I could have caught that in advance. But my other neighbor, there have been instances of really loud arguments. Arguments to the point where I question whether or not everyone is safe. And then have to figure out how do I respond to that. That is something I do not feel I would have ever been able to gauge just passing by during the day or at night, even on a walkthrough tour of the place. It is not often, but when it does happen, it is alarming. I am very happy to say that there hasn't been any loud, disruptive events from that side of the building in about a month. So I'm hoping that whatever frustrations were happening there are resolved and that those problems won't return. But with that being said, noise, neighbors, and potentially being witness, even though it's just by sound, to possible abuse is very disconcerting and something that you just can't predict. Caught me by surprise number 2, rodents. My place is spotless. It is super, super clean. I have to say, when I walked in, I was so happy that I had chosen this place. I had only seen video of it online, so I really wasn't sure if the video would match up to expectations, but I walked into brand new flooring, freshly painted walls, brand new kitchen appliances. Everything was clean, everything was smelling rosy. Okay, well, it was really smelling rosy, but it was like, yes, this is such a good decision. And 2 weeks went by before I heard a little rustle. And lo and behold, I opened my kitchen cupboard, well, the kitchen garbage area, to find a mouse in my garbage bag. I was really frustrated and I thought, ew, that's gross. Now, actually, I'm gonna back up a second because I realized there was a mouse in my bathroom one evening. He kind of came, poked his head out, was like, hey, what's up? Oh, you're there. I'm gonna go back in the bathroom. And I'm like, what the H? So the super maintenance came by. They put down a little sticky trap or what have you. We couldn't really figure out where the mouse came in from, but it's an older building, so I said, maybe it's through the heating vents or maybe there's a little crack somewhere. Either way, I wasn't stressed. But when I saw a mouse in my kitchen garbage, I said, oh no. Now, being a former resident of New York City, I have dealt with mice. And I have a full system on how to deal with mice. I'm very good at catching mice. However, this was the first time I'd been in a place where the mice just kept coming. Oh, yes. On day one, there was one mouse in the kitchen garbage. Day two, there were two mice. And then the next day, there were two more mice. Oh dear, later on that same day, a fifth mouse showed up. I tried to find a bag to grab its little butt. However, it saw me, got scared, ran away.
So this is the pest repeller that I got so that I can humanely get rid of mice. I noticed some mouse droppings below my sink. I've been living here not very long, and while having my dinner, I heard a little rustle, and sure enough, there was a mouse. He is strapped in this garbage bag. Now my pest repeller is set to ultra. That's supposed to deter mice, right? Notice the distance. It's not far away, but yeah, it should not be. Oh, there's two fucking mice in this bag. There's, excuse my language, there's one and there's the second one. So, family of mice in the bag. Great. That's just great. So, in my opinion, this, you can see that, move it around down there. Yeah, there's a tail. See that tail? And there was one on the other side. So, yeah, in my opinion, this thing doesn't really work.
Maintenance did come by, put down some more stupid sticky traps. Those things don't work. And, you know, we sealed up the hole in the kitchen cabinet area. But still, knowing that those mice are in the wall somewhere, and you can hear those little feet too. You can hear those little feet. I don't hear them very often anymore, thank goodness. I feel like maybe they've moved on to another building. Apparently none of the neighbors have complained about mice, but I live in an area now where when it's cold, mice will come looking for someplace warm. So it has nothing to do with dirt. It has to do with, it's an old building and there's some nature nearby. You guys, having to catch mice night after night is just no fun. And like I said, first 2 weeks, no problems. So I would have never would have known this had I checked out the place beforehand. Caught me by surprise, number 3, travel. Okay, so I knew that I was going to be moving to some place where a car would be a good idea. But I also knew that financially, a car was just not going to be happening anytime soon. So I really want to make sure that I have the option to take public transportation, which I do. However, the public transportation doesn't run very often and it doesn't go to all the places that I want to go to. So that's really a bummer. Now, to be fair, I could have done some more research on this. I could have checked into how long would it take for me to get to this particular Trader Joe's via public transportation. I only looked at getting to one of the 2 grocery stores that I like to go to. So I knew that both grocery stores were within a car distance, and at least one was within walking distance. However, unlike living in, say, New York City or when I was living in Connecticut, the walk is just really dreary. There's no nature to look at. And okay, New York City, you're not going to have nature, but it's all just flat. I don't know. It's really easy to walk a mile in New York City and not feel like any time has really passed. Whereas now when I walk a mile, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I ever gonna get there? Maybe it's the less frequency of buildings and people and just seeing so many cars and everything is really spread out. it just seems to take forever. So, transportation, think about if you are moving someplace, even if you're going to have a car, really do your research in terms of how long it will take you to get to places. I wish that getting around my town was different, but it's not. Caught me by surprise, number 4444. So, eco-friendliness. I was really excited when I signed up for this building and saw that they have a policy about reducing paper waste. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is so cool. I can't say that I've seen this before, where a building will just let you know that they are eco-friendly and they want to reduce paper waste. Yes, please give me that lease in a digital format and any other notices in a digital format. Now let's be honest. A lot of companies do this because it saves them on having to print things. They don't have to waste money on paper and tone, or at least they're spending less money on those things. They're spending less money on postage. However, and this could be just something about the United States, but the particular facility that I reside in, I was really disappointed to find out there's no recycling. I'm a California girl at heart. I've lived in New York City, I've lived in Connecticut, and in all three places, recycling has been an important part of my life. Being better at recycling has been an important part of my life. I spent the last year composting in my backyard to just be even better at reducing my carbon footprint. So to now live somewhere where I purchase a lot of produce in plastic because it lasts longer in the freezer, and then I have to dispose of that plastic, I have increased my carbon footprint, and recycling just isn't a priority for this building, and I find it super frustrating. I did learn that there are homes in the area that do recycle, and I have been tempted to see if I can take my recycling and put it in someone else's bin, or just like ask somebody, can I just pay you $20 and just drop off my recycling every week, because I feel like a bad human. Truth be told, I could go to a recycling center to recycle my bottles. However, the downside for that is, since I don't have a car and everything is really spread out, it would take a lot of work for me to get to a recycling center and to recycle my goods. It also seems like I really haven't been able to find a place that will accept glass recycling and plastic recycling at the same time. Not that I really have a whole lot of glass, but I don't really want to go to multiple facilities in order to recycle. So I might just be paying somebody else in the neighborhood. Number 5, building priorities. So what are your building's priorities? What do the management of that building consider a priority? So for myself, I've moved to a building where there are many, many units, and I think building management just kind of prefers that you don't bother them. That's the feeling I get. And it's understandable. There's a very small team managing a large number of properties. Now, if you are someone who happens to be paying, $3,000-$4,000 a month in rent, then you are paying to be considered a priority by your building. With that being said, if that building has a large number of units, then you might not be a priority. They might not care if you stay or go, especially if it's a facility that has a long wait list and is in demand. However, for me, I wish I felt that facility was interested in ensuring that the grounds remain clean and just really bringing in tenants that aren't crazy. There's been a few moments where I've definitely been worried people were going to come to blows. I don't know why people were standing outside yelling at each other, but it's happened on more than one occasion. And it is going to be hard for a building manager to kind of identify who problem tenants are. But there are so many rules that you agreed to when you signed the lease that I wish I saw a few more of these rules enforced. One of the rules is regarding having garbage outside of your door. Um, you're supposed to just take it to the dump. And many times I see garbage bags, same garbage bags, just sitting on somebody's front stoop or back stoop, days on end. And I don't own property here. I'm not trying to sell property. However, it does make the neighborhood look more junky, I should say, by having that garbage just sitting there, even though the dumpster is 2-minute walk away. And it can be a signal to mice to like come hang out, right? So just little things like that where I don't want to feel like calling the office and asking questions about, when maintenance is going to come by or where can I find the lodge room. I don't want to feel like I'm inconveniencing somebody by asking a question. And I have on more than one occasion felt like calling the office of the building where I'm paying rent is inconveniencing someone else's day. Thankfully, the main person I have to deal with, we seem to have an understanding, and I no longer seem to annoy her. However, there are other people in the office who are just really rude, and I just don't want to talk to them. I'd rather just not be involved. So that is definitely disappointing, because if you want to feel like you are welcome in your own home. So, with that being said, those are 5 things that I just could not have guessed prior to moving into my place. I'm curious to know, have you moved into a home or building where even if you were able to inspect the place prior to moving in and inspect the neighborhood, you just found that there were some things you just couldn't have guessed? I'd love to know in the comments below. I hope you found some of my experiences helpful in terms of maybe when you're looking for your next place, you could ask them if they have had any recent issues with rodents or noise complaints. Yeah. Thanks so much, friends. Be well. And until next time, peace.